right. Hi, Denise. Okay, I think I'm streaming live, but it was like, hopefully, hopefully it works. I'm not really sure. Actually, let me check my phone real quick. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But anyway, I have no idea. We're just gonna go with it. Whatever happens, happens. It's being recorded.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. I'm Tanya Gonzalez Ortega, and this is the amazing Denise Washlow, and we're gonna jump into doing a CCT session first and foremost, and then I'm gonna dive into just interviewing Denise and talk about the work and CCT and transformation and all that good stuff, just to educate all of the viewers about Crystalline Consciousness Technique, family constellations work, and how it can help you. So thank you, Denise, for being here.
Okay, right. So you're hearing me. Everything seems to be okay right now, right?
Yes, it is working. Hallelujah.
Yay.
So Denise had a great idea of an intention for this session, which is to retrieve any fractal parts of self. So, you know, we go through life and things can happen. A lot happens in childhood where we split off parts of ourselves due to trauma and things like that. And so we lose a piece of ourselves, and it's almost like it's just yeah, parts of us just get left in different dimensions as a response to coming from a place of wanting to protect ourselves. But what happens is then, yeah, we're kind of walking around not really accessing the fullness of who we really are, right?
Right.
So that's one of the intentions that's is going to be is to retrieve those parts and heal and retrieve those parts. And then if there's any other intention that you want to add personally, you can. And the way Crystalline Consciousness Technique works is you are connecting to crystalline consciousness, receiving light vibration information from your own source connection. So I'm not doing anything to the group or to you personally or anything like that. It's a very clear in integrity modality. So just know that. And when I start is I'm going to start by setting up fields. And we do that in CCT just to create a very clear, sacred container that holds safety for us before we dive into the energy work. And so I'll be speaking the protocol. Just notice what you notice. This is your first time. Just know that, you know, your conscious mind might want to try and figure out what it is I'm doing. Try not to do that. Try not to get stuck in the head and just really connect to your body and notice what you notice. Because more than likely you are going to feel energy begin to shift. So I asked to place the vibration of opening in each individual's crystalline energy field and our crystalline group field. I asked to place the healing chambers in the appropriate order for this CCT energy healing meditation in each individual's crystalline energy field and our crystalline group field. I asked to place the vibration of the intentions of this energy meditation, as well as your own intentions, in your individual crystalline energy field and our crystalline group field. I asked to place the vibration of the 23 crystal vibrations, 11 universal needs, and mastery in each individual's crystalline energy field and our crystalline group field. And I ask that you connect to the crystalline grids of the planet, which are below your feet, and I ask that you connect to and through the crystalline energy field. I invoke opening at your head, heart, waist, solar plexus, and low belly and feet. So just know that this part of the session, you're opening up to higher levels of consciousness, being present, diving into the body, relaxing, opening up to your highest potential. And I'm just gonna pause and wait for the energy to complete, working its way through. So again, you're just noticing what you notice. You feel a sense of quieting of the mind, or maybe even tingling, or maybe your hands are heating up. Okay, now we'll move to the next phase. Muscle testing for healing chambers. I invoke a pure essence, dual healing chamber at your head, heart, waist, solar plexus, and low belly and feet. So I'm seeing a lot of light coming in right now. So the sacred geometry healing chambers basically release any distortion that you might be carrying and bring your energetics back into coherence. And when I sigh, that's just energy shifting. So that's a good sign. And another healing chamber is needed. So I invoke an infinity healing chamber at your head, heart, waist, solar plexus, and low belly and feet. Right, and now I ask to anchor on the following intention as stated, this CCT energy healing meditation. heal and recover any parts of yourself that have been fractioned off, reintegrating them back into wholeness. Another big energy shift there. And now anchoring in any intentions that you have for yourself at this point in time. So focusing on what it is that you want rather than on what you don't want. And so those can be silently stated to yourself. So anchoring in those in now. Okay, and now moving on to the last phase, I invoke mastery at your navel, feet, and crown. And so in this part of the session, we're just anchoring in the session into your core column of light and bringing right closure to the session. As it is intended in the new earth energies, so it is.
Wow.
Oh, that was amazing. I don't know.
Amazing.
I have to say, Denise, like that was the first time, I mean, that was the first time that I was getting like super clear visuals. Like usually I feel it energetically, you know, I feel the subtle energy movements and whatever. But man, like even just in setting up the field, like I was getting these sacred geometry shapes coming to me. And, you know, and then with the pure essence, and then infinity healing chamber, it was like, wow, it was just coming in so clearly. Like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was, thank you.
I got them now, in fact, as well, from head to toe, because this intention of integration is something that I've been, working on for a very long time. And so I guess I will just share with everybody that some of my own challenges going through life and just being alive. Yes, I come from a very large family of 9. and it was a wonderful family. I couldn't have asked for anything better in my life, really. If you would have asked me this a few years back, I would have thought, like, what is this? Like, what is life? What is all of this that I'm going through? Um, but there are things that you push away that you don't remember from when you were younger. And I knew that I had these stops in my life where there were blockages. And the more that I've been doing this work, the more that things have been opening up for me and little things I remember. So um, there's a lot of different things, patterns, addictions, learned addictions that we don't even realize, thought patterns, that things that were told to us when we were younger, that they really do stick with us, and we don't realize how much they have stuck with us until you try to really step out into the world, and then you're like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? That came from left field. Like, why was I feeling so scared or stuck, or that I just couldn't move forward? And so the types of things that, traumas that I had sexual abuse, emotional abuse, alcoholism, and within every aspect of my life, not even just in family here, but everywhere. Like, I would see that kind of thing unfolding. And so those were things that I knew that I needed to address in my own life because they kept coming at me. And so all of these little aspects of myself that during those traumas that I had left behind, you don't realize that you've brought in this other personality trait of your own to sort of save yourself when you're going through these traumatic things. And then you leave them and you set them down within yourself. And later they're just bubbling up to the surface saying, hey, you need to look at me again. Something needs to be healed. But of course, we don't know what that is, and we all take it in and internalize what's wrong with us. And there isn't anything wrong with you, you just haven't healed that aspect of yourself. And so really, Tanya, working with you and going through awakening of a higher state of consciousness, really revolving, or that's not the word that I want to use, including this into my life, looking at those aspects of myself, realizing where that was what I did because that's how I had to survive. And knowing that it's okay. That was what helped me. But yet I got to look at that shadow aspect of myself, bring it to the surface. And this has helped me to do that. And the movement and shifting of energy is no joke with this CCT. And it will get tough. It will get tough. And it's going to rear its ugly head if there's something still there that you haven't resolved. And so within the last year that I've been working with Tanya, I thought, okay, I had this epiphany that I was going to stop taking in the CCT, that I needed to do more of this inner work myself, which I did. I needed to trust me, to trust what I was feeling. So to step away for that little bit that I did really was a huge, huge shift in all of it, to realize that, yes, I was being true to myself. I was listening to myself. I went in further, did a lot of different meditations, and just taking myself into nature, and then just saying, it's okay. It's okay. That part of me, you're okay. You're okay. We survived this. And now I can integrate you into who I am, with knowing and being clear that I'm okay with that. Like, those injuries, those things I've learned from that, I definitely don't want to carry this on and push it into any aspect of my life where if I didn't heal it, that somebody else is going to have to do that. And that's a big thing for me because I feel like that's my responsibility. That's why I'm here. This is why, to heal this part of my own soul. So it's been phenomenal.
And I was, this morning I was, thinking about, our life together, and I had to stop and think, like, okay, how did we meet? And I realized it was when I had put out this sort of women's circle.
Mercury retrograde.
What's that?
Stop it. I feel like we're being cut off a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's cut off a little bit. Yeah, I know you look frozen.
Just on my end though.
Yeah, you look frozen. But yeah, we met through, I had created like this concept called the deep dive sessions, and it was like a women's group, and we would do healing meditations together and share what was going on. And I did energy readings. And I remember that time, like you were going through an awakening to um, your higher self. And um, the wisdom and then in the intuition, all of that you already inherently carrying was like coming online. And so I just wanted to speak to what you said when you said, okay, I had to take a step back and just be with myself for a while. It's like we did a bunch of work together and then you kind of took a break. Like to me, uh, what I see, which was very extremely wise, like you were listening to yourself, is that you had to integrate, like it's pause and integrate and because you can overdo things. You can like do too much, right? Like, oh, I'm just gonna do a bunch of energy healing sessions and I'm just gonna pile all this energy work on myself and because I just want to move through it as quickly as possible. And what ends up happening is just that you lose track of even where you are. And I just, to step back and just go like, okay, wait, all right, I just need to feel myself again. So I felt that was really awesome.
Because if you don't integrate these parts and these aspects, you really are sort of acting from those shadow aspects sometimes, and how it could affect the people around you. And when you don't heal those things,
Yeah.
it's continuing with subconsciously. We do it because that's how we've learned to cope.
Right.
And realize how it affects the relationships around you as well.
Right.
And so took that pause. That's where I seen more of that. And so then I had to take ownership for where it was on my part, and then leave everything else behind that wasn't mine. And instead of trying to take it on and fix it, or fixing other people, because that's what I think a lot of us as empaths and people who have been through trauma, we think we've healed. And so we're trying to fix other people from a whole place. You're really doing is disservice to other people until you can really heal that part of yourself. That's just how I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all within, really. It's like, yeah, if you heal and transform what's on the inside, your relationships are going to shift and change without you really having to do anything, right? Or to like you're saying, like fix other people or to solve other people's problems. Or yeah, it is. So what I thought was really interesting in the meditation, what I felt when we anchored in the intention to retrieve those fractioned parts of ourselves, those parts that have um, you used a word, fractal, you know we yeah, it gets fractioned. So when then we anchored in that intention, I really felt this deep peace. It was like everything got really quiet and really still. And it was like, for me personally, I felt like I experienced wholeness. Like, oh, it's all here. Like you are all here. And that was really like,
Yeah.
this session, if you guys are, whoever's watching this right now or watching the replay, it's no joke. Like really start to notice now, because you've been through a CCT session. How do things start to shift and change after this point? And I wanted you, Denise, to talk about like what have you noticed in your life as far as like your relationship with yourself or your relationship with others, like even energetically, like what have you noticed that has changed for you?
I've been on the journey for a while, so
Yeah.
I've noticed since I started to do CCT. Before that, I was learning about, like our energy fields and how you pick up on other people's energy, where yours ends, where theirs begins. But I still wasn't actually being able to integrate that part because I was still finding myself empathically being pulled to sort of when somebody's sad, I can feel sad. When somebody is going through something, a type of anger, if you pick up on the anger, and if you're very sensitive to it, you don't realize that it's almost like a mirror to you,
Mm.
and it's bouncing off of them back at you, and it sort of raises and pulls it out of you, and all of a sudden you feel like, where did this come from? Since I've been doing CCT, that's what I've noticed, is that where my own cognitive ability goes, that ain't me. This isn't me. 10 minutes ago, I was fine.
Mm.
It's their stuff, their things, their energy that I'm picking up on. And I can now go, nope, that's not mine. And I can do it with compassion, and be like a witness for them, so that I can really just be the listener instead of trying to resolve it for them, just listening, because most of the time we can pull that out of ourselves while we're in, having a conversation with somebody. They can resolve their own thing as long as you're listening, just listening. And so I've learned that being a better listener, this has really helped me to be and just seeing the shifts in my relationships, not jumping at every time when something or somebody needs something. Like before, I was always okay, yeah, let me just drop what I'm doing, and I'm going to go do all this, and then my whole day would get sorted down a different whole path.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I was always like, well, that's okay, because I help out people, and I help this person or that person, but then I'm like, well, wait a minute, none of my stuff got done. So now it's given me the ability to realize how much of a fixer I was, and that I was always trying to pull myself in all these different directions, because it's sort of like a people pleaser, that people pleasing thing. And we do it because we think that, oh, well, I don't even know why. Sometimes maybe be excited, or you want to be there for people, or because you've always done it before. So now kind of putting the ball in their own court, give them some advice and say, okay, maybe this, and this, but not letting it derail me off of my entire is
Right.
important. Yeah.
That's huge. So like you said a few things that I wanted to point out. So being able, not, it's like with CCT, you've learned how to hold a container for others. And we talk about that a lot as practitioners, of holding a container just basically means like getting out of the pattern of wanting to fix things for other people. And because that's an actual energetic distortion, because what happens is you're thinking you're helping them by taking away their pain, or fixing them, or whatever, fixing this problem. But what you end up taking away is their own transformation, their own lesson that they need to learn. And so holding a container isn't like, oh well, tough bleep, you're on your own, figure it out, buddy. Like, no, it's like holding a container, like, okay, I see you, I'm holding a container because I know that you're going to figure this out. And so there is an energetic thing that actually happens when you have that intention of holding space. Like you're saying, I'm just going to listen. I'm just going to listen. And holding that space, it kind of helps the person come back to themselves and access their own inner wisdom and
Yes.
empower them, actually. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's giving them their own power. And I think that empowered me even more, because I was like always trying to, but if you constantly do that, a person, like you said, they're not integrating this for themselves. You're doing it for them. So yeah, to empower somebody else is empowering.
Yeah.
And so that feels great. Feels
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so powerful. I Yeah, and then the other piece, like the and again, that fixing, that people pleasing, like it's definitely a tendency that women just have. Like we just, and like you said, I think it just comes from generations and generations and generations of this role that, oh well, I'm a mother, so I care for other people. My job is to to nurture and whatnot. But yeah, where it gets out of balance is when we lose ourselves, like you're saying, like, oh, I get thrown off of my center and suddenly I'm in somebody else's world doing ABC, and I lose track of myself. And yeah, and then suddenly decades pass and you wake up and you go like, wait a minute, where am I? What have I been doing? You know? So yeah, to come back to yourself and focus on, okay, like, what am I here to do? What am I here to experience for myself? Like, because that that is a huge thing that I think a lot of women struggle with. And um, I know for myself, CCT has definitely helped me come back to my own center and get really clear about, okay, what what do I want to create in my life, and stay focused on myself so that my purpose can then come through in a much more clear way, in a much more powerful way. Um, and so when that happens, we're actually, everyone benefits ultimately, right? Like your well is full. It's, you know,
So true. It is so true. If you give from an empty cup, you're not giving,
yeah,
taking on again.
yeah,
You're taking, it's just going to keep continuing in a different in the opposite direction of really what you're really trying to achieve. And I think as overachievers or nurturers, I tend to do that. I can't say, I can speak for everybody, but I tend to do that. And I've seen that throughout my life. I mean, my mother was a mother of 9. She was giving, over giving all the time, but not realizing, and I love her to death. My God, I would never have wanted anything any different. But sometimes I wanted to just be like, Mom, take the day, go do something for you, you know. But and now she does, and I'm seeing that shift as well, which to me is amazing, because not only am I seeing the shift within myself, but I am seeing it within my family, because I'm doing family constellations with you. I've done these things where I'm asking for healing for these other members within my family as well, because these generational patterns that we are continuing are so subconsciously being done that we don't realize that we're doing it. We don't realize that we're doing it. And it's sort of like even like when there's a person with addictions in the family, that is so hard to deal with, because we think tough love, that's a lot of people go to tough love and let's just cut them off. Let's just do these things. But I'm a true firm believer in that, doing that and listening, being a listener for them to be able to express themselves is really so powerful, because you're giving them the power of owning what they've been through, speaking it out loud, which then gives them their own, that energy, the empowerment of voicing it, which is confirming them as a person. So yeah, it's just been
wow,
amazing.
wow,
Amazing.
wow, wow. Yeah, it's just, yeah. I'm speechless,
I,
honestly. I
yeah,
feel like, speaking with you now and just hearing your own process and the realizations that you have come to, like, I'm just blown away, honestly. I mean, it's just such a humbling, for me, a humbling experience just to hear what you have to say, Denise, because
it's
it's
power, not taking away anybody's power by doing this. You're not taking away by doing this. They're going to feel them, but and you do it from a different standpoint as a witness, but you can hold that space when you're healed, and you know that they're going through that, and you can see it because you already did it. And that's what was so powerful to me, was saying, oh my gosh, like sister shift, see this other person shifting and being more conscious about their efforts of, whatever is happening in their life. That's powerful, because they're the ones who are being empowered by it. And what's beautiful is that you get to witness it.
yeah, Well, it sounds like the work has definitely not only transformed your own relationship to yourself, but you're watching your family members also evolve and change and
and benefit and from it.
wow,
And
wow.
they don't even realize. So
Yeah,
you're doing work as an empath, as a person being and a human being here, and you're healing yourself, and it's not through years of going to a psychologist and all of this, where you're literally putting it back out there and into your field, and it's sort of in a looping, because you're speaking it again, but you're feeling all of these feelings, which is a good thing. You feel those feelings, you're going to feel those emotions, but to constantly relive it is putting yourself right there again. So this is like, you feel it. I've moved through some of those things. I've had days where I said, hell, I'm not even getting out of bed today. I'm just gonna stay in bed, because I know it and I'm feeling it, and this is my day. I just need to, if I'm gonna cry, let out these things, and the memories may come up. And then as soon as I pull in that CCT and I ask for that divine intervention, I can feel the shift within my soul. And it's beautiful. And it's beautiful. And CCT is amazing. I keep saying, like, I don't know how this works. Crystalline Consciousness Technique is amazing. I don't know how it really works. Like, I tried to wrap my mind around it, and then that's when I just go, listen, give it back to God, because thank you for bringing you into my life, because it's been a game changer.
wow, wow.
Anya. So I love you
Thank you.
for real.
Thank you so much, Denise. And I mean, this is all really, really powerful and amazing. And I hope people that are watching this gain huge benefit from the session and just your story. And anybody that's watching, if you're curious to learn more, just you can comment, you can send me a message. My website is newearthconsciousness.com. There you can learn about all the different classes that I have. And I also host twice a month free group healing sessions. And they're kind of like mini sessions. But what's powerful about those, I mean, already I get people coming back to me going like, oh my God, I'm having a breakthrough just through the free sessions. So I do offer one-on-one. Right now, I do have a 13-week program for women in their 40s that's being offered as a beta program, so 50% off. 13 weeks, one-on-one CCT family constellations work. If you're at a point in your life, in a stage in your life, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I see my patterns. I'm people pleasing. I'm giving away my power. I'm exhausted. I need support. Then, reach
You're
out.
looking outside of you're constantly looking outside of yourself for something to fix you. Whether it be another person and you feel like, they're talking, this is a game changer, because it doesn't, not that it doesn't allow you to go outside of you still do, but it's more internal. It's more internal. Like, you can feel the internal work moving through your body, and it's physical benefits. You can feel the heart rate drop from the anxiety. You can feel even the depression lifting. Your thought processes will change. And the more that you're conscious of it, the more that you can pull that in. So when you start to have those thought processes, that old patterns, that's where I can feel myself stop, so that I can do that shift and say, no, I see you.
Yeah, I release it. I don't have to engage with that. Yeah, new way of being. I love you so much, Denise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. Thank you, everyone, for who's watching. I love you so much, and talk to you soon. All right.
Take care.